And we are live. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, Pianki Patai Muntu Neferamon Ra. And today we got a huge show with a special guest I've been trying to get on for a while. Before I had a brother introduce himself, let me do my usual spiel. Let me say Hotep to my fellow Kemetic brothers and sisters.
Hotep.
Let me say God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. Let me say Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Let me say Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Let me say Jambo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States or beyond. Oh, and before I forget, let me say peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earths. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you black, I'm with you, and I hope you with me. Our different ideologies shouldn't keep us from uniting. We can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable, and we can have unity without uniformity. And with that, my brother, please introduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's your boy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Chief.
Okay, it's your boy Anu Kakaraka Heru-Bey, Nia Marte the First, Lions Den debates, Naga World Stand Up, and Pooh Crew. Um, so this is actually a treat for me, man, because we actually get to do a one-on-one. So I'm ready to jump right into it, brother.
Okay. And with that said, bro, it's been a lot of talk in the back chat group about your information. Before we get into the actual information that we're gonna be dialoguing about, tell us about your community, what y'all stand for, how
Okay.
long you've been involved, how you came into it, and then we'll jump right in.
Okay, so I belong to a community called Tamara Kush Kasambu. Kasambu means the arisen ones of Kush. We are a tribe. We are a tribal nation of people that is directly under the imperial throne of Kush, the matriarchal throne. We operate within St. Louis 314 area, helping our people in our community and our tribe to build food, clothes, shelter, economics, and defense. We specialize in art. We specialize in martial arts. We specialize in building solar panels and survival techniques. We heavily employ um, agriculture as one of the most revolutionary tools to raise our people up out of the dismal crypt that they living in. Uh, so I've been with Tamara Kush for about 15 years. We're also known as Sun Moon Sect. I've been with them for a number of years. We've created plenty of gardens, greenhouses in the city. We've worked with the Nation of Islam, Black Panthers. My wife, she's the former secretary of the Black Panthers. I can't remember the title. You know what I'm saying? And we've been working with churches. We've been working with just about anybody that's ready for any type of unity. So our main thing is to bring back common unity in our community, and we do that by hosting what we call tribal communion. And tribal communion is to enforce the peace that's between our houses. So in our tribe, we have all contracted the peace between our houses. Literally, there's a contract and a treaty that states this is how you interact with each other's family. And it's it's 7 laws that governs our houses, and we bring those heads of households in and their children, and we teach them about the history of our people on this landmass and the planet. You know what I'm saying? So I just got into the whole debate scene. I really like it because I'm an intellectual, so I really enjoy it. And like I hope we'll be able to connect more and do more bipartisan actions between our different communities and whatnot.
Definitely. And the brother has invited me on a couple occasions. I just hadn't been able to make it, but I'm definitely gonna make it my business to get down there and commune with the brother and his people. So with that being said, bro, let's get into the information. So
Yeah,
now
that's
we
what's up.
know the thing that's been stirring people up in our particular back chat group for this channel is your view on God
That's
and
right.
what God is, who God is, etc. So let's jump right in, bro.
Okay.
What is your view of God and who God is, how God operates, etc.?
Okay. So the first thing is this. I don't deal with who God is because that's political. That's
Gotcha.
political. If I say Yahweh, then you're gonna be like, oh, he's a Hebrew, he's this, that, and the other. If I say Ra, you're gonna say, oh, he's a Kemetic. If I say Oshun, oh, he fought they on some voodoo stuff. So I don't deal with the politics of names. But what I do deal with is what is God? What is God? And from my studies and my experience, I've learned that God is light, is electromagnetism and the fullness thereof. Everything that deals with electromagnetism and light. Almost every single religion on this planet agrees that God is light. If you go into the Bible, it will tell you that God is light, and in Him there is no darkness. People like to argue with me about, well, it says God created light, and I say yes, it did. It do say that, and it also says that all things begetted themselves. So if the first thing that God created was light, what does that tell you? What God is? Light. He created of himself first, light. So you know what I'm saying. When it comes to understanding why God is light, you have to ask yourself certain questions. Is God in everything and everywhere at the same time? Though that's one of the most fundamental questions. Is God omnipresent? Is He there everywhere? And I keep saying him and he because out of force of habit, but I don't put a necessarily a gender on God, because God is energy to me. God is energy. God is electromagnetism. Uh, when they talk about the personality of God, yes, God does have a personality as energy. It's called left and right, up and down, off and on, zeros and ones, negative and positive. That is the mentality and the consciousness of God. And people don't understand how complex uh people don't understand how complex negative and positive actually are. You hear positive, you think good. You hear negative, you think bad. When it's actually none of the sort. God don't deal with human emotions and reasoning and logic, none of that stuff. So I want to point out that when we deal with light, electromagnetism, uh you have to understand there's two fundamental things going there. There's electricity and then there's magnetism. Okay, when we talk about God, they say, oh, God is love. But what is love? What is that? You're on a physical, tangible plane. What is love? Love is magnetism. Love is the thing that attracts you to another thing. It's the thing that binds you to another thing. So magnetism is the thing that binds us. Is the thing that binds us. All of our atoms, protons, and neutrons and electrons. The magnetism is the thing that binds all of that together. So then once you understand that you are intrinsically God, having this human experience, but at the same time, you are like a drop of water compared to the ocean. You understand? When we talk about electromagnetism, right? I can rub my feet against the carpet and create an electric spark, and you can see the little electric spark shoot from my finger, right? But within that one spark is the entire electromagnetic spectrum. And I mean from gamma rays to radio waves to ultraviolet rays to X-rays, so on and so forth. In that one little spark, all the information is encoded throughout the entire universe in that one spark. That one spark is the seed of all things. You know what I'm saying? So once I realized, okay, well, light is that thing that is omnipresent. It's everywhere all at the same time. It's not controlled by time. It exists outside of time. You see what I'm saying? So once I realized that, then I said to myself, okay, well, what about being omniconscious, just knowing all things, or having the capacity to know all things? And then I found out that light has this like atomic memory. You know what I'm saying? And even further into the future, you're gonna see that memory storage is gonna be on light. It's just gonna be a light disk. It's just gonna be like a micro drive, but it's dealing with light. uh I there's this experiment on YouTube where this guy puts a hand radio wave together with a couple of solar panels, and he's able to transfer music from the handheld radio into the solar panel that powers a light, and then push the power back through it, and then you can hear the sound. And I'm like, even while it was just being light, it still held the information of the music. And that was so profound to me, that light has the capacity to actually hold information. You know what I'm saying? And we all know this. We're all on the internet. All of this stuff operates off light and electricity, and these are packages of information that's being sent back and forth. So light has that ability to be omniconscious or omniscience. It has that capacity. When you talk about all powerful, what other thing in this universe can you think of that is more powerful than electromagnetism? You can't think of another power. There is no other power outside of electromagnetism that you can say, okay, this is more powerful. Nothing. So we already covered three. It's in all places at one time. It's all powerful, and it has the capacity for unlimited storage of information. That by definition is divine. That by definition is divine. It does not need man to sustain itself. Light does not need man. Electromagnetism doesn't need man. I heard them cackle, and they make jokes like, oh, yo, God, a light bulb. I'm not talking about a man-made device. I'm not talking about no man-made device. So if you want to cackle and say, oh, well, this is a light bulb, I could control your God with no, you're controlling artificial light. You're controlling artificial light. I want you to look up at that sun and tell that sun to stop spilling gamma rays, and see if you can control that sun. You can't. You can only control whatever man-made device that you have that interacts with that artificial light. Same thing with the wind. You can't tell the wind to stop blowing. You can't make the wind stop blowing by just pushing a button. You understand? Some things are completely out of our control. So when it comes to really truly understanding that your body, you can't even hold your atoms together without light. If you understand how atoms and electrons feed the nucleus of an atom photonic energy, if you understand how that works, then you will understand that you couldn't even form matter without electromagnetism. You cannot form thoughts without electromagnetism. If you die right now, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna get a defibrillator, and they're gonna hit you with a few thousand volts. You know what I'm saying? Now, if God isn't light and electromagnetism, why are they shooting you up with electricity? Why are they hitting you with electricity? Why they just not breathing in you? You see what I'm saying? People just not grasping that concept. If I take a picture of you in an ultraviolet spectrum, you glow like the sun. If I take a picture of you with a thermal camera, you glow like the sun. You glow like the sun. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and this is why I tell people, like, this is one of the most profound things to me, is because the book tell you that we children of the light. We children of the light. It tells you this. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, I'm not a Bible thumper. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I gotta recognize truth when it's presented to me, regardless of the origins of it. So if that truth comes from the Bible, then I'm gonna acknowledge it. If it comes from the Quran, I'm gonna acknowledge it. If it comes from the Satanic Bible, I'm going to acknowledge it, because truth is truth. You can't. There's no going around that. You know what I'm saying? So
let me ask you this then, bro, because
right.
obviously people all around the world, since people have existed, have different ideas of what God is.
Right.
And so we know we come up with our different variations on what God is and what God isn't. So with that being said, how does your God theory or hypothesis, whatever we want to, whatever best
Right.
fits it, how does that fit into the idea of a Jesus Christ, a Ra,
Okay.
not I wouldn't say Buddha, but when we look at Japanese
Buddha too.
mythology,
Buddha
but
too.
we'll throw Buddha in there. Japanese mythology, where I forget, it's like Sanunsu, who is like the storm deity, and
Yep.
things of that nature. Where does, or Thor, Shango, etc., where does your idea or concept of God come into play with where all of these different people groups from all over the world? Because if
Right.
we look at Zeus, Thor, and Shango, it look like almost like they describing the same powers,
They are.
same feats, but in vastly different areas, vastly different people. So
Right.
where does your concept of God come into play with the way people are trying to express their ideas of God?
Okay, so I'm gonna use this example because this is one of the things that we had just recently kind of came into understanding. You know who Akhenaten is, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you know that they was
Got
worshiping.
them tattooed on my arm.
Right, you know that they was worshiping Amun Ra before I-10, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I-10 is the corona. I-10 is the corona. It's the crown. It's the crown of the sun. And what I try to explain to people is Akhenaten was not just talking about worshiping the sun disk. He was literally talking about uh, electromagnetic radiation, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about plasma. We're talking about superheated gases, plasma. So when I go into the Kemetic ideology of God, I understand that those are principles. I understand that those are principles of our physical reality. You see what I'm saying? Now, some people might consider those real people or real beings. Uh, and like I said, once again, that depends on your perspective, because I look at light as a being. I look at electricity as a being, because it operates on similar scales, meaning that it proliferates, it consumes. You know what I'm saying, and it has an intelligence. So you know what I'm saying. I consider light a being, not a organic being, but it's a being nonetheless, a fifth dimensional being.
Now let
So
me ask you this real quick, because we talked about Kemet a little bit, and
right,
that's my wheelhouse. So
yeah, no doubt.
when it comes to Akhenaten, I always felt like that was a pushback against, because we know through history, and we know from historical sources, Amun virtually became, or
Right,
Amun Ra
right,
virtually became uh
right,
monotheistic,
right,
in that we know that all of the principles, deities, however you want to categorize it, in Kemet were considered to be expressions of Amun Ra. So it was almost monotheistic, which gave the cult of Amun a lot of power.
right.
And I always thought Akhenaten moving to Aten was a pushback against the cult of Amun. You saying that you think it was a little more than that?
Well, I'm gonna agree with you on that note, and at the same time, yes, I do believe it was a little bit more, because our ancestors dealt with this science and this information for thousands of years. So it's not like this. It's not like they were dumb or ignorant when it came to these things. for them to talk about Shu and moisture and Geb and earth, and they're talking about these fundamental principles. We have to stop looking at it like they were just these country bumpkin primitive people. They weren't. They were very civilized, and they were very advanced. So with that being said, if you studied the stars for thousands of years, you know what I'm saying, you would probably come up with the same type of conclusions that they came up with. When it comes to the sun, they call I-10 the sun, but they also call I-10 the moon, because they call him the silver Aten. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
They call him the silver Aten. So they're literally talking about the radiance. They're talking about radiance. They're not talking about I-10 as a person. They're talking about the radiance and the glory of God, which is I-10. You know what I'm saying? So if Ra is the sun, the glory of Ra is I-10, his radiance. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't get it like that, but that is exactly where it was going. And I just want to point this out to all my Hebrew brothers and sisters out there. Akhenaten is the biblical Moses, regardless if you want to believe that or not. He is
you starting stuff now, bro.
Hey,
starting stuff now.
Look, he is the biblical Moses. Moses' story is built on top of the story of Akhenaten. I'm not saying that the story that's in the book is 100% Akhenaten. That's not what I'm saying. But when you start looking at the parallels, the lines start getting blurred. He killed the Egyptian soldiers, right? But Akhenaten didn't kill Egyptian soldiers. He killed the priesthood, which is an even more atrocity. You know what I'm saying? Even a more bigger atrocity. He killed the priesthood. Then Moses was known for starting monotheism. Akhenaten is known for starting monotheism. When you start looking at all of the different signs and the symbols that's around Akhenaten and around Moses, you start seeing the parallels. And it don't end there. Tutmos the third, that's David. That's your David. Tut, T-U-T, is translated as T-U-T-V-T in Greek. DVD in Greek and Hebrew. T-U-T and DVD. That's David. You understand what I'm saying? So David was known for his military campaigns. And when you go look up Tutmos III, it's around almost the same time, and he fought almost the exact same people, the same war campaign. So you can start drawing the conclusion. I tell people all the time, all you gotta do is follow the war. Follow the war, follow the money. Once you follow the war and the money, that's gonna lead you directly to where you need to be. The same thing with Solomon. Solomon is Amenhotep III. He was the one who was known for building all of the temples all over the land, different shrines and temples and things of that nature. So you know what I'm saying? So they just superimpose their own twist of the story on top of our ancestor story. So like I tell my Hebrew brothers and sisters, if this is the original, why you got to deal with the fake shit? Why you got to deal with the fake stuff if this right here is the original? If Isis, if Arset is the original Mary, why are you dealing with the fake Mary? You see what I'm saying?
Are you familiar? You familiar with my brother Captain DeGaulle Gabor of ISUPK St. Louis?
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna have to get y'all together in a convo, man, because you stepping all on Cap toes right now. So
well, you know, it go a little deeper than that, bro. For all my brothers and Hebrew brothers and sisters out there, I always ask them these simple questions: Who is Shem? What did he do? What did he do to become venerated as a patriarch? And how do you identify him? I always ask these questions because they are very significant. So when I do my study, I found out that the only way for you to really truly understand who Shem is, you have to go study the legends of Etna. The legends of Etna. That is where you're gonna find the actual person Shem. And Shem did not worship Yah. He worshiped Sasmash. He worshiped Sasmash. It's even in the name Sasmash. Shem, Sam. It's all in the name. So he actually worshipped that person. Now, according to my studies, Shem was impotent. He could not have children. He could not bear children. So one of the children of one of the sons of Ham was chosen to lay with his wife in order to produce an heir. That son name was Cush. His name was Cush, and the union between Cush and Shem's wife bore a son named Nimrod. Nimrod is biologically a Cushite. He's biologically a Cushite, but he's spiritually and he's the spiritual and surrogate son of Shem. So he held the birthright of both Shem and Ham, or Shem and Cush. You know what I'm saying? He held both titles. This is the reason why he was able to go into Mesopotamia and create Babylon, Akkad, Eric, Uruk. That's the reason why he was able to build those places and erect the administration in those areas, is because he held the title and the deed to those lands. Nimrod did. So a lot of people is going to be angry about the fact that a lot of the stuff that they think is Hebrew is actually Cushite. You know what I'm saying? And this just the realm that we living in. You know what I mean? And like I said, I could keep going on and just keep on doing the comparative studies about the different names of who is who and who is not. Noah never cursed. God never cursed Ham. God never cursed Canaan. You understand what I'm saying? So when you read the scriptures, it's telling you the writers of the book messed up, because they tried to curse Ham, but at the same time they stripped Shem at the same time, because Nimrod is the son of Cush. He's not the son of Shem. He's not the biological son. So Nimrod,
you going in on biblical history that I like, bro. I told you we got like 5 different shows we could do.
Yeah. So I'm let me, we getting sidetracked, but I'm gonna get back to your question at hand about how do you polarize all these other different religions that deal with God. Well, in Buddha, right, they talk about Buddha, the light of Buddha, the light of Buddha. That's what they talk about when they talk about Buddha.
Real quick, bro. Keep building. As I always say, I'm gonna go pay a water bill, but keep on building.
Okay, so you have on one instance, you got on one instance where they're telling you about the light of Buddha. When you hear about the biblical references, when you hear about the Quranic references of God, they always use light to describe God. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no other thing to compare God to but light. You can't compare God to any other thing, because there's no other thing that fit the category, or that fits the description of being omnipresent, omnipotent, omniconscious. You know what I'm saying? So even when we go into the Ifa, when you go into Ifa and you deal with the supreme God is like the sun. They even make the priests dress in all white garbs to represent the radiance of the sun. You know what I'm saying? So, the religions of the world are not against what I'm saying. They just don't want to come to the grips of understanding that God is electromagnetism, and he don't give a damn about human interaction, that or it does not care about human interaction on earth, because that's not his function. That's man's doing. Man is the one who creating laws for you, telling you what you can and can't do. The sun, the light don't care about none of that stuff. The light says let it shine, and and the light energizes everything. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the sun, like I had just did this study recently, and it said that when our solar system was young, that the place where Earth sits, there was nothing there but a gas cloud, but it had a magnetic field that drew matter into it. Well, when the sun first ignited, the sun ignited electrically, and it spewed electromagnetic energy all over the universe. And that burst of energy is what causes the planets to start rotating, because now they're magnetized. And if you know anything about electrons and electronic spin, then you'll understand why these things rotate and they move in this circular pattern. Some people call it the golden ratio. You know what I'm saying? But you will learn that the human the human phenomenon is a light being. We are light beings. Without light, our mental facilities degrade extremely fast. Yeah, true. We could survive without visible light for a time. For a time, but eventually you will perish. When it comes to understanding the fundamental works of God, dealing with electromagnetism, they tell you that God heals. So does electromagnetism. They use chemotherapy. They use lasers and different apparatuses to actually help with the human condition. And when you talk about light, you have to understand that light is what is electro. My bad, I got the hiccups. Light and electromagnetism is the thing that is driving evolution. It's literally driving evolution. So things don't even evolve without the light, without electromagnetism. I'm actually doing a experiment right now in my garden. Yes, I grow food. Like I told you, we all about agriculture. In my garden, where I took a speaker battery and I buried it under the ground, and then I have a couple of other speaker. I have a couple of other speaker magnets surrounding the plant that I'm growing, and I have one control subject that has magnets, and I have another control subject that does not have magnets. And I'm doing the comparative studies on how biological organics grow within an electromagnetic field. And from my studies, I found out that the plants that grew up under the electromagnetic field actually grew expeditiously faster, and they were more robust. They were sweeter, brighter, the whole nine yards. The ones that are grown up under the magnetic fields. So even when you deal with electromagnetism, electromagnetism is the thing that is molding your evolution. When it comes to certain aspects of our atmosphere, right? People always ask, the flat earther brothers, they always be like, well, how is this? We on the spinning ball, and the water not getting flung off of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's because they don't understand. They don't truly understand electromagnetism. The water has a negative property to it. It has a negative charge to it. The electromagnetic field, the EM field, is the thing that is literally holding the atmosphere intact. Just like the bonds in your body, the electrons, protons, and neutrons in your body are being held together by a magnetic force. It's a magnetic force that is holding the atmosphere and trapping water and oxygen on this planet just for you to breathe. Just for you to breathe. And that
Real quick, bro, because that's kind of heavy when you put it like that. Because so now, and stop me if I'm going off track.
okay.
When you say it's an electromagnetic field that's holding water and air and these things, I guess gravity would be another one,
Yeah.
keeping these things intact. Is that, can that be equated um in a sense to a deity holding this planet or this
Mm.
existence?
Oh,
together?
you talking about like Atlas?
You walking with me?
Yeah. I'm following you. Kind of like Atlas. That's an interesting concept, bro. I never really looked at it like that. I never thought about that. I'm gonna have to put that in my chamber and smoke it. You know what I'm saying? So I can find so I can find out what
Because
that's like.
that's what I thought about when you just said that. I'm like, I'm a nerd, so I'm always thinking about mythology, comic
Right.
books, that the things of that
Yeah.
nature. So as soon as you said that, I'm like, damn, okay, maybe that's why Zeus had to assign somebody to hold the sky up. But I'm spitballing. Admittedly.
You on point, bro. You on point. And it's like once you understand that our ancestors they were not primitive, they wasn't stupid, but they did explain things in a way that they could. Like our language is a hell of a lot more complex now. You know what I'm saying? The language that we're using is a lot more complex. Our field of study and understanding about the world around us has grown expeditiously. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like it's grown greatly since we was just hunters and gatherers. You understand what I'm saying? So as time passes, we also have to evolve and become enlightened about our own situation, which is why I brought up about my eye about we don't turn from truth no matter where it come from. So I'm not gonna disregard my ancestors' information. I hold that there and I take that in consideration. But in the light of truth, I still have to adjust my stance so that I stand firmly on my square. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with this information because uh it's not very deep. This information is not deep. It's actually surface information. It's just that we are not accustomed to hearing we're not accustomed to hearing wisdom about God in this format. You don't hear people or scientists talk about God in that way. Uh, I thought I created the whole God is like concept. I thought I came up with that shit until I started searching the internet and I start finding a whole movement out here that's dealing with God is light. And we're not talking about fanatics. We're talking about astrophysicists, particle scientists. We're talking about quantum scientists who believe in this. And then when I start dealing with the quantum, I start learning like, well, damn, a quantum reality actually facilitates a God. Now, this reality that we live in, this black and white crap that we live in, it does not facilitate God. Quantum realities facilitate God, and not just any God, everybody's personal God. In a quantum reality, everybody has a version and an aspect of God that is true to themselves. Like I'm a person who I don't believe in heaven and hell. I don't believe in heaven and hell because I stand firm on the point that when you die, you return back to the realm of atoms and molecules. And as an atom or a molecule, you will still have the ability to make the choice on what it is that you want to do. Rather it be become the wind, become fire, become water, or maybe you want to reincarnate back into your bloodline. All of those options are available to you once you go back into the realm of atoms, protons, and neutrons. I had a dream, I had a vision one day of when you die, and when we died, it was like I became like this orb, right? And while I was this
Say
orb,
that again. You became like what?
I became an orb. I became this orb.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like me, but I didn't have no arms or legs. Like I didn't have hair and nothing like that, but I still felt like me. And when I thought about things, I would instantly uh uh be transported to that point in time in that reality when I thought about things. And then start making me scratch my head like, man, what is this? What could this possibly mean? You know what I'm saying? Because the ancestors and God light it actually speaks to us in our dreams when you in the energy world. which that's what your dreams are. You're in the energy world. You're in a world of infinite possibilities. When you in this world, when you in this dimension, it's pretty black and white. But when you're in the on the other side, on the spiritual realm, there's so many different possibilities. So once I start understanding, like, wow, so you're trying to tell me that a solar system and an atom is the same thing? Is that what you tell me? A solar system and an atom is the same thing, and a molecule is the same as a galaxy? So once I start realizing that, I'm like, damn, as above, so below. As above, so below.
Damn, did you just go there, bro?
Bro.
Did you just go there?
Bro.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? So I start looking at, like, as above, so below. Okay, it's starting to make so much more sense now. You know what I'm saying? When we look up at the sky, you're actually looking into a microscope. You're looking into a particle microscope when you look into the sky. Just like when you, if they put you up under a microscope and they start looking at your atoms, you're gonna start looking like little universes and solar systems. You know what I'm saying? And then when you look up in the sky, you see solar systems and you see galaxies. As above, so below. It takes the sun rays 8 minutes and 30 seconds to reach Earth. It takes your body 8 minutes and 30 seconds to circulate that blood throughout your body. Every day, man wakes up. He wakes up with a heart on. He rises with the sun every morning. I mean, bruh, I don't know about I don't have erectile dysfunction. Every morning, I'm trying to tell you, every morning when that sun I'm up too. He's up. You understand?
Every morning we saw resurrected, huh?
Every morning, you know. And so when it comes to
real quick, shout out to my brother and your brother, Metu Hotep Jallo.
Shout out. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the moon, right? The woman is on a 28-day moon cycle. So she connected to the moon, we connected to the sun, hence the nations of gods and earths. You see what I'm saying? They know it. They know it. They'll tell you the same thing I'm telling you. So once you start realizing how we are connected cosmically on a cosmic level, like this right here ought to this ought to, like, start sparking fire in your bones. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, damn, bro, I am connected with the entire universe in one spark. In my essence lies the entire all the information that is inside the entire universe is within my cells. All of it, from what water. Even water has a memory. It has a genetic memory, and everything that has ever happened on this planet has been recorded in water. It has been recorded in light. Every single event, every single occurrence, every single phenomenon, it's all in there. And so, like I said, when it comes down to understanding why we're saying God is light, why we saying God is electromagnetism, you will start really truly understanding that people don't want God to be electromagnetism, because then that means that they have to be responsible for their own actions. Now it's not about, oh, if God wills it. It ain't about, oh, the devil made me do it. It's about you being a despicable human or you being a righteous human. You see what I'm saying? And we taking all the blame away. We move all the blame off the table. Can't blame God, can't blame the devil. Who left? You. So you got to start taking responsibility on your actions. Don't tell me that I'm in the condition that I'm in because of a curse. We're in the condition that we in because we refuse to strategize and react. Let's keep it real. We refuse to strategize and react. And this is why I keep trying to explain to people, we have to change our value system. We have to change the way we look at things. You know what I'm saying? And when we ultimately start looking at things from a scientific standpoint, you will understand how science is the one thing that always kept us afloat. During the Great Depression, it was African Americans who were the innovators and the creators of all the things that we take for granted today. Our ancestors was the ones who did that and kept this country from falling into a dismal pit of despair. It was the light of consciousness, and it was the light of understanding and wisdom that brought us the hell up out of that dark place. Just like in Egypt, it was the innovation, it was the light that of wisdom that fed these people and kept these people going. So once we start going back into a place where we can actually start inventing and experimenting, you know what I'm saying? They got these people thinking that you got to be a scientist or something to conduct experiments. No, I was a kid. I was in the chemistry. I mixed every chemical up under the sink and almost blew the house up. Trust me.
I was about to say, you almost died, didn't you?
We all liked it. We're all inquisitive. We all want to know. We all want to learn. You know what I'm saying? So let
me ask you a question though, bro, because you know we got our brothers, our more intellectual brothers, our more scholarly brothers, if you will, right. Who are saying, what's your source for this information?
Okay, the source for the information first and foremost comes from the experience. It comes from human experience. The collective human experience, not just my own experience, but the collective human experience. If you have not experienced the sun being a healing factor in your life, I'm sorry for you. If you don't understand, if you ain't never experienced how the sun brightens your day and brightens your life, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you if you ain't never felt the warmth of the sun rays. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to God, you have to have a personal experience. You cannot understand God through somebody else's eyes. You have to experience God through your own personal experience. And through your own personal experience, you will understand the personality of God. You understand what I'm saying? And that personality is negative, positive, negative, positive. That's what it is. Let me give you an example. Giants on the earth is bad, right? Killing people, slaughtering people left and right. That's bad, right? Yeah, but then God positively wiped their ass the hell out, which was a positive thing for us. You see what I'm saying? God works at negatives and positive. He says, oh, I'll give you free will. Yeah, that's a free will to choose negative or positive. You got a left and a right brain. I got a left and a right lung. You got a left and a right nostril. I got a left and a right eyeball. You see what I'm saying? I got left and right ears. You see what I'm saying? That's off and on, left and right, up and down, positive and negative. You understand what I'm saying? So my own human experience is telling me and driving me to this conclusion, not to mention that the rest of the collective human experience on the planet, when it comes to the concept of God, is always described as light. Always. God is always described as light. How else you gonna describe an all-powerful, all knowledgeable being outside of light? There's nothing else for you to compare it to. You see what I'm saying? So I say to people, for those who are looking for a source of the information, you have to have a personal relationship with this earth. You have to have a personal relationship with that sun. You have to have a personal relationship with the concept of God that you believe in. You might not believe in my concept, and that's okay. I'm not headed to hell. You are. I'm not headed to heaven. You are. I'm headed to the realm of atoms and molecules. I'll return back to being the water or the plants or the air or maybe a cosmic ray. You're going to go to heaven and fly around in a robe with a crown on, with the streets paved with gold, and the gates are adorned with jewels and rubies in a place that don't have a monetary system. What value do gold and jewels and rubies have in a place that don't have a monetary system? Nothing. It means absolutely nothing, which means that the concept of heaven that we get is a poor man's dream, because you cannot reach your heaven here on this plane. So they promise you this shit in the afterlife, which nobody ever come back to tell you like, yeah, man, the afterlife is pretty swell. You see what I'm saying? Nobody comes back to confirm they vacation in the afterlife. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to actually understanding, like, how do you know it's a heaven? How do you know it's a hell? How do you know it's a God? Nigga, you gotta experience these things. If you ain't never experienced hell, how the hell you know what hell is? If you ain't never experienced heaven, how the hell you know what heaven is?
How the hell do you know what hell is if you ain't never experienced hell? Let me ask you this, bro. We coming up. We're about 10 minutes away from an hour. You want to take questions from the chat?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Dropping the link and having them come in, maybe one at a time, or
you can flood them in. You can bring them in however you like, man. It don't matter.
Okay. We'll do that. Go ahead and keep building, man. I'm gonna drop that link and bring some people in.
All right. Yeah. So like I said, like, you know, if you're not having a personal experience with these things, then all of the stuff that I tell you is going to really elude you because you don't have a personal experience. It's like trying to explain to somebody the feeling of sex, but they ain't never felt sex before. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how do I explain to you the feeling of being inside another person's body? How do I explain to you the feeling of the exchange of energy between two heavenly bodies? Your body is comprised of all of these molecules and atoms, right? You are literally a galactic body. When you lay down and have sex with a woman, that is two galaxies coming together. And you know what happens when galaxies come together? Check this out. When galaxies come together, they either A, merge into one, or they tear each other apart. Sometimes,
bro, hold on real quick. Let me interrupt you because, like, hey, when we talking about sex, and you just said something that hit me upside my head, right? You say when two galaxies come together, they either merge into one or they tear each other apart.
Yep.
And don't that perfectly describe sex?
Man.
Bro, that perfectly describes sex to me,
bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why I keep on trying to explain to people, like, you have to have a personal experience with this. If you can't take your own human experience and then transmute that into the understanding of wisdom, then I don't know what else. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I could sit here and look at a colony of ants and then sit here and write a book about the wisdom that I collected from the ants. And they ain't uttered one word to me.
We got our brother Metu Hotep Jallo in the building. Shit. Let me add him to the stream. Metu the God in the building.
Peace.
Peace to the gods.
Hotep, my brother, what's the word?
Yeah, I just wanted to build with y'all. Which a lot of people don't understand that there is no disconnection in the universe. The only disconnection that exists is the one that you put in your own head. Like everything.
We lost you, bro. You still there, Metu?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can
hear you.
I said,
you broke up again, bro.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, everything is interconnected. There is no disconnection in the universe. Everything that happened in the macro is happening in the micro universe. So you don't have to go far to find out what's going on. You don't have to look in the sky to know what's going on because it's right inside of you. Every particle, every planet, all of that is inside of you. So you are the creator having a human experience. You're not human having a God experience. You are God having a human experience.
Facts. Facts.
See, because I was just reading a thing and somebody was gonna say something like giants didn't exist. Okay, if you say giants didn't exist, then you can't say that Jesus existed. You can't say one is fake and the other one is real.
Hold on.
Knock out the giant, you might as well knock out the Jesus thing. So how you believe in this Jesus dude? And there's some evidence of that, but there's absolutely evidence of fossils and bones of things that were taller than 6 feet.
Yeah, not to mention, let me add on to what you're saying, Matu. When it comes to the idea of giants, mute your phone because I'm getting the feedback. When it comes to understanding about giants, right? All you have to do is go make a Google search, look up sand magnetized, and when you go look up a picture of sand, right? I want you to look at the sand and identify what is in the sand, and you're gonna find out there's seashells in the sand. But this sand is so small that it looked like grains and dust in your hand. But when you magnify it, you find out these are actually seashells and sea creatures that used to live in these shells. Now I can go to the ocean right now and show you an exact copy of the seashell that you see in sand, and as big as your head. Now, if you understand that creature that lived in that shell used to prey on other animals or other beings that was smaller than itself, and then when you understand that other beings eat that, and then another being eat that one, and then they keep going up from there. So giants really did exist, and giants did exist because the Earth in the early stage was the continents were closer together, and it was more foliage on the planet, and it created more of a dense oxygen atmosphere. The more oxygen you have, the bigger your body can grow. Everybody knows this when it deals with fish and reptiles, or even if you're a weightlifter. If you have an oxygen mask on while you lifting weights, you can lift weights longer, and you actually build muscle mass faster if you work out with oxygen tank on. So
That's
giants.
just like, it's just like that. That cartoon.
We got the scripture ripper, Sabio, the best researcher in the business outside of Dr. Reggie in the building. Hey, Sabio, let's be respectful of the guests. Go ahead with your question, bro.
Yo, I just want to know, can I get evidence, some type of document proving that giants existed, other than your mouth? I need proof of this.
Okay, I just
people say stuff all the time, and that don't mean it's true.
Well, I just explained to you.
Let them answer. Let them answer.
I don't need you explaining. I need evidence. That is the evidence, bro. That is the evidence. That's your explanation.
Let them answer. Let them answer. Let them answer,
bro. You just said a lot of things that people. He's not.
Okay, so once again, like I said, when the Earth was younger, the continents were closer together, and there was more green foliage on the planet. That green foliage produces from photosynthesis produces oxygen. Oxygen, when you have a heavy oxidated atmosphere, biological beings can grow enormous sizes because of the amount of oxygen that they can put into their muscles and into their bloodstream. Now, if you like, I could actually pull up a study about growth and giganticism dealing with oxygen. But all you have to do is look around. The Earth is losing more and more. It's losing more and more foliage, and as oxygen levels deplete, the animals will become reduced, the people will become reduced, the water will become reduced. Everything is going to become reduced once this place loses most of its oxygen. You know what I'm saying? So I'll bring up a quick study for you,
bro. Thank you for trying to explain to me how you think giants existed. All I asked for was a source, some type of document proving that giants existed. We have all this archaeology of gigantic as mastodons.
Boom, right there. Boom, right there. You just answered your own question.
No. Stop. because we're
Hold on,
not talking
Sabio.
about
Let him respond. Let him respond. Let him respond.
no, because he
Yeah,
did
yeah,
not
yeah,
say
yeah,
Bible.
yeah. Sabio,
Bianchi,
Sabio.
come on,
Remember, I
Bianchi, I'm
said
being
respect
calm.
the guest,
And I'm
bro.
being respectful.
Respect the
I'm being
guest. Hold
respectful.
on.
But come on,
Hold
he did
on.
not
Hold
mention
on. Hold on.
dinosaurs, bro.
Hold
He
on.
did
Real
not
quick,
mention
Sabio,
dinosaurs.
before you say something else, bro, was you done responding or can Sabio go?
Now he can go ahead. I mean, he already doing
Go
his
ahead,
thing.
Sabio.
See,
Can I
he
go
did
next?
not mention dinosaurs and mastodons, as I did. And now he's going to try to say those are giants. He said giants, enormous humans. We want to see evidence of those. We have fossils of dinosaurs and things. We can prove that existed. We don't have fossils of giants. We want to see evidence of that. He made the claim.
So
When you make a claim, when you make a claim like that, you have to have evidence. You just can't sit up here and think people is going to accept that is true with no evidence.
So I
Okay.
want to comment on it if I can. I don't know unless the brother gonna speak, and I'll fall back.
Let me respond to him real quick.
Go let him respond and then it's on you, Rocky.
Okay, I'm finna share my screen real quick.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
All right. Let me see. Chrome tab. Oh, here we go. Boom. Can you see Can you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, expand it a little bit if you can.
Shit, I don't know how to do that, man.
Okay. Let me see.
Did it get bigger for you?
Yeah, it did. It did.
Okay, so this right here comes from pubmed.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. Right here, this is a study about cellular oxygen consumption depends on body mass. Right, and I'm gonna just scroll down here. It says the rate of oxygen consumption per unit mass of cells scaled with body mass with exponents negative 0.18. In general, there is a 5.5 fold decrease in oxygen consumption rate with a 12,500 fold increase in body mass. You hear that? The decrease in oxygen consumption rate is due to an increase in cell volume with the increasing body mass, but to a decrease in intrinsic metabolic activities of the cells. So I don't know if you understand. I don't know if you understand scientific jargon, Asabio, but what that just said was that the oxygen in your body makes it possible for your body mass to grow exponentially. That's what it says, right? And if
Look, thank you. I appreciate that. But still, that is not what I asked for. You
yeah,
said
you
giants
did.
existed. We that no, that is not. See, you see, this is what I thank you. I'm finna go. Because when I asked for a source on what I asked for, when you ask for, if somebody told me to source up on the Ottoman Empire, I would source up on the Ottoman Empire, on the things that I talk about. I source up on the things that I talk about, on the claims that I make.
That's great.
You just made a claim. You read something talking about critical body mass and oxygen and how that can help people grow, which is already proven. We already know this. No one's denying this. What I asked for specifically was what you said about giants and the other brother, Metu Hotep, talking about giants existing. You did not do any of that.
Oh, okay.
So since you just did all that, this lets me know that you're not worth conversing with. You're another NGA dude that makes up shit that will lie to people because you think it's cool. And as long as it's going to help them grow, you said it in the back chat. I'm holding you to your word, and I will not converse with you or your brother Ruben again because y'all lie. He just lied and made my DNA say that it went through the Levant.
Okay, man. It sounds like you got some personal issues, man.
So, no, you
all
have
right,
some
Sabio,
personal
let me get to Rocky, bro. Let me get to Rocky.
So I just wanted to comment on what he just said. What he read kind of said that. It didn't exactly say that. And the context of it, what it was speaking about was basically um, on a particular species or being's ability to intake more oxygen. With that, you see most times a growth in body mass or certain parts of the body, where be it lungs or nose or whatever mechanism in which that particular organism takes in oxygen. Um, so that doesn't necessarily correlate to bigger body mass, and especially particularly with our species Homo sapiens. And I'll say it because of this. Throughout evolution, I'm on my phone right now, but I'll mention a few works. You can look at the most basic work, Sapiens by Yuval Nervi or something like that. The book is called Sapiens. That's a good basic thing about evolution. One thing you'll notice about is the size of hominids, and the size of archaic humans. Humans, since our existence, I'm talking about archaic humans. I'm talking about Homo neanderthalis, Homo denisovans, all of them. They have never been remarkably tall. They've always been short. We're talking about 5'1". We're talking about 4'5". We're talking about 4'11". We're talking about very, very small people. In fact, I don't know what height you would consider a giant, because nobody said in the chat context wise. So he was talking about people like 6'5", but we know people around the height of 6'5" was existing at the time, because when you go do the research, you can look at the differentiation in the heights in the different climates. We know people that lived in more mountainous regions, most times they were a little taller than people that lived in places that were more lush and plush, where you didn't have to necessarily do so much to get to your food. You may have just have to climb a tree, in places like the rainforest and stuff like that. So you run into an issue with the giant idea, because then you have to compensate for, can our body, Homo sapiens, I'm talking about anatomically modern humans, can our body, the way it's made up, actually compensate for having that much mass? And what you will see is that as humans get taller and get wider, our bodies struggle more. And one of the biggest things we can look at it with a lot of athletes as well, is the deterioration in our joints and in our knees. You're not going to have 8 people walking around regularly. Their knees would have broke down too bad. They wouldn't have been able to eat enough food to sustain themselves, especially before modern civilization. It's just not realistic. And you can't equate foliage, and because there's more foliage, there's more oxygen in the air, to giant humans, right? You can't. And you can't use dinosaurs as a rubric when we're talking about our species, Homo sapiens. Even Neanderthals, who were thought to be fairly robust creatures, they were only the average height of a male Neanderthal. We're talking about like 5'6" to 5'7", 5'8". And that's all I gotta say. That's it.
So can I respond to him?
No doubt. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of giganticism?
Yes, I've heard of that genetic mutation. Yes.
Okay, boom, right there. Genetic mutation. You just said it. Giganticism is abnormally large growth due to the excess of growth hormones, GH, during childhood, before the bone growth plates have closed. It causes excessive growth in height, muscles, and organs, making a child extremely large for his or her age. Other symptoms might include delayed puberty, double vision, or the difficulty with side peripheral. What happened?
Keep going. Pianki fell off.
Okay. The side peripheral vision, prominent forehead or frontal boson, and the prominent jaw, headaches, increasing sweats, hyperhidrosis, irregular periods, large hands and feet with thick fingers and toes, thickening of the facial features and weakness. It may begin at any age before the epiphyseal fusion. The most common cause of is a non-cancerous benign tumor of the pituitary gland.
Yes,
So
sir.
so once again, humans do have the ability to grow enormous sizes. We don't know the extent. We don't know the extent of that because the Earth is not in the same condition it was hundreds of thousands of years ago.
So you're making a mistake when you use that. I'm at the exact source you got that from. You got that from rarediseases.info.nih.gov. It's a website on rare diseases. When you look at the side effects of this disease, you know it would be illogical to come to a point to say that we don't know what humans would have done if the Earth was in a different circumstance, because people that suffer from giganticism, they wouldn't have survived in a society without modern medicine. All of the side effects and the things that happen to them, they wouldn't have been able to even really do much physical labor or work, which was mandatory in times when we talk about in antiquity and prehistory. So it's not even realistic to put giganticism in an argument with giants, because people that suffer from giganticism, they're like hardly even mobile in most cases.
Okay, so once again,
real quick, let me read something. This is from my brother, Nobody, from Trust and Believe the Gospel. He says, I was born with a disease called Marfan syndrome. Every part of my body is abnormally larger than any other human being. My daughter is 15 and she's 6'4" and wear a size 15 in men's shoes. Now, this is today. This is basically somebody I consider my niece. This is today. She is alive today. And so, and then he references Andre the Giant, who had the same disease.
Yep.
Rocky, what's your input on that? You still there, bro?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I was talking. My bad. So my bad. You good? My response is to go back to the essence of the disease and to show that we live in such comfort today that we forget how difficult it was to survive in those environments. Most of us on the panel probably wouldn't have survived that. And the brother, the good brother that's speaking, looking at the side effects of that disease, 9 times out of 10, the ancestors that passed that genetic mutation that he inherited from them, they probably wouldn't have been able to pass that down because of the dire side effects of the disease. Not only does it affect the limbs and stuff like he says, but it also affects the heart, eyes, blood vessels, and bones. So let's be realistic when we talk about these things here. We can talk about it in today's context, but people just wouldn't have survived in a physical, being in a hunter-gatherer type of living environment. They wouldn't have.
Well, once again, that's your opinion, and that's hypothetically speaking. You don't know.
I wasn't.
Let him finish, Newt, and then you go.
So, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna drop off because I'm gonna go to bed. But he can reply to me. So, you may not know much about me, but when I come on these platforms and I talk about these things, I'm not speaking from my opinion. What I'm doing is I'm gathering evidence. So I'm on marfan.org. What is Marfan syndrome? And I just read to you the side effects of Marfan syndrome. I gave you a reference work called Sapiens to read to understand the background of our evolutionary history and how tricky evolution was and how rare it actually is for a species to survive. So then when you go to that one, you can go to Metaline Plus, Marfan syndrome, MetalinePlus.gov, and read more about Marfan syndrome to see more of the side effects. You can also read that source that you read from rarediseases.org to read the side effects of giganticism. And when you read all of these things and you understand the complex processes and things that early archaic humans would have went through, you can deduce intelligently that most likely those humans would have probably died off if they couldn't go feed themselves. That those people that had that gene would have most likely died off.
That's
Okay.
true.
So this is my response to that. Do you see any giants around? How many giants you see every day? Anybody can answer that question. How many giants you see every day?
Well, based off of what I presented as a giant in my family, I see them
Real
almost
quick,
daily.
this
but
is
go
my
ahead.
brother Nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel that joined the panel. Go ahead, bro.
So,
I got a brother who's 7'1". Me again, I'm 6'5". My daughter's 6'4". Just to answer the brother question about the disease on Marfan syndrome, when I was diagnosed with Marfan syndrome, it was only 400 people in the world that had it. So it's still a new disease or whatever. Right now, it's only like 200,000 people in the world that have it. Like the brother said though, we do die out fast. You know, don't give me Andre the Giant died at what 36. I'm 36 right now. I have had open heart surgery 3 years ago. Everybody would say, "Hey, that's young to have open heart surgery at 32 years old." So he's right in an aspect, but the brother on the panel who's getting interviewed, he's also right. Y'all have to understand what a giant meant back then. There was giants in those days, and it is what it is. You know, it's proven based off of what a giant would have meant back then. You know, we're not talking about watching.
Let me ask all y'all something, because I don't know if y'all watch Family Guy or have ever watched it, but you seen the joke where they had Jesus and he was like super short. Weren't people in the first century and prior to the first century, like
shorter.
compared to us, they were hella small.
Right.
Not trying to be funny, but like I'm 6'2", 280. Wouldn't I be considered a giant back then? And I'm just asking for clarity.
No, yeah,
you
would.
One second, Pianki. Look at Napoleon. Napoleon was what, 5'2", whatever,
Right.
going around conquering all these cities. If he would have saw you,
and that was what, the 17th century.
you see what I'm saying? People were shorter back then, bro. It is what it is. It was. A lot of people were shorter back then, man.
And that's why I was making the statement that because the planet had more oxygen, it was able to facilitate bigger beings at that time. You know what I'm saying? But since we going through continental drift, forests are burning. They've been burning. The West Coast on fire right now. So the oxygen levels are being compromised even as we speak. So you're gonna have more respiratory issues happening all around the world because of the depletion of oxygen. You know what I'm saying? So when I was explaining to him that it's a reason why you don't see a bunch of giants running around, because they die off fairly quick. They die off fairly quick. So you know. It is what it is. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to take my word for it. But gigantic is real, and it is a gene in most biological beings. It's a gene. It's either turned on or it's turned off. You see what I'm saying? And depending on the radiation levels coming from the sun and the environment, which would affect the biological being. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if in the last glacier Maximus, right? Let's say if the sun was solar flaring and we were getting bombarded with cosmic rays, gamma rays, would that mutate humans? Would that mutate the beings on this planet? It would. Gamma ray is known for actually stripping atoms and ionizing atoms. You know what I'm saying? So that is actually very, very possible and plausible. So the brother, you know, so I respect his opinion, but when you say stuff like could be, might be, that those are all hypotheticals. It's not a hypothetical when we talk about the pygmies and the Twa. So a lot of those people don't even get 5 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? I'm 6'2", 330 pounds. If I stood next to a person like the Twa, he would call me a giant. You know what I'm saying? If I stood next to some Russians, they tower over me. You know what I'm saying? So, some of the people in the Sudan, they tower over us, and their average heights are around 6'5" and stuff like that. So, you know.
Hey, nobody stay put if you can. Sabio, you still there?
Nah, he dropped off.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Sabio, go ahead and respond and close out. I'm gonna leave these two brothers on for a second, and then we all gonna close out. Go ahead.
Nah, I just want to say that you NGA brothers, y'all really need to get y'all head checked, because your brother Ruben is seriously trying to tell me that my maternal line,
Ruben not on
left
here,
out
man.
of
Yeah,
Africa.
we don't Sabio. We don't know. I don't even know Ruben.
No,
Ruben not
I'm
even on
responding to
here,
him. I'm gonna respond to him too, and this is all because he's
No,
part of
just
NGA.
keep it on the brother I knew Kakarot, because I don't want
This
the brother
is on
Ruben.
him. This is
For
on
future
him. Okay,
reference, I don't want him to think,
Oh,
you know what I'm
all right,
saying? I
all
might
right,
have
all right,
him on.
All right,
You
Pianki.
being biased, Pianki. You're a Christian now. You're being biased.
All right.
Oh
All right,
man,
so
stop it.
I'm gonna keep it on him, but I'm just letting you know, because this is how y'all do. So he was trying to tell me that they're trying to tell me that I'm Moorish. So I posted parts of my DNA test.
Oh man.
The part that say I'm West African, the part that shows I'm L3, and that's basically it. He then went and put together a whole nother chart that says my maternal line is L3. But he added it with some Levantine people to say that this is me. This is how you NGA people do. That's why I do not ever want to deal with y'all again. Ever.
Thanks,
And
bro.
I'm out.
I appreciate
What do
that.
what do NGA
All right,
mean, Sabio? I don't know. What do NGA mean, my brother?
It's not NGA, it's Naga. It's Naga.
Okay, my bad.
That's
Okay,
my brother Sabio. Hey, listen. Hey, y'all know I got love for my brother Sabio. I feel like he the best researcher in the game outside of Dr. Reggie. We know what the brother Rocky brings to the table. Hey man, don't be laughing, man. I'm dead serious.
Let
You
me
know
go
what
on
my
mute.
brother Rocky brings to the table. You can't say Rocky don't bring scholarship to the table. They're
No,
my
I ain't talking
brothers.
about Rocky. I ain't talking about Rocky. I'm talking about Metro. I'm talking about Sabio. Rocky,
Hey
my dude.
man,
Go ahead.
don't get on my brother Sabio, man. That's all I gotta say, man. Don't
Sabio,
start none,
Sabio,
won't
my
be
dude
none.
too.
Don't
Sabio, my
start
brother.
none,
Go ahead.
won't be none, nobody.
So I just wanna clear some things up. We
Go
was
ahead,
not
bro.
we was not saying that man is Moorish. That was not the narrative. What I was explaining to him that Moor is a blanket term that covers a lot of different groups of people. So to ask for Moorish DNA is kind of intellectually dishonest, seeing how that Moors cover a large group of people, different ethnic groups. So you can't just pinpoint, put your finger on, and say, oh, this is Moor or this is Moorish. I don't claim to be Moorish anymore at all. So I was not trying to say he was Moorish. What I was trying to explain to him is that Moor, Amaru, means Westerner, and it means anyone that was west of the Euphrates. So that includes any of the people that was in Africa at the time. So, I'm not saying that he is a Moor or he's a Moabite or he's Phoenician. I'm not that's not what we were saying. And Brother Reuben, he not here, but what he was trying to explain to this guy is that humans are not trees. We migrate back and forth, in and out. We migrate. So you might possibly have ancestors in Northwest Africa, Northeast Africa. You may possibly have ancestors because thousands of years ago it was something called the Green Sahara. It was filled with people and it was filled with flora and fauna. And when the Sahara dried up, those people went somewhere. They didn't just die. They migrated to other places in Africa. And those people are your ancestors, regardless if you want to acknowledge them or not, or rather if you want to acknowledge them as Moors or not. Those people were real.
And that's what's up. That's what's up. So we're gonna get ready to close out. The reason I wanted you to stay on, no nobody, is because I just want to point out that y'all brothers come from two different paradigms in regards to y'all spiritual outlook, but y'all found common ground to agree on. And that's why this channel is the most diverse channel on YouTube as far as the conscious / vote, whatever community you want to call.
What channel? This channel is what channel on YouTube?
The most diverse.
The most diverse. Go ahead, my brother.
I just want to point that out because again, y'all brothers coming from two different paradigms, but y'all found common ground. And so I just want to point that out.
I'm gonna cut you off. But let that be known what my big bro just said. This shows that it ain't no biasness going on this channel, man. If somebody says 1 + 1 = 2, it is what it is, bro. I don't care if you Kemetic, Christian. I don't know the brother background now. I don't care if you're Moorish, 5% or whatever. If something is true, it's true, man. What the brother said about giants, I came at the end. I'm embarrassed to even be a co-host on this channel and not even know that the show was going on, so forgive me for that. But I came in on the end when he was talking about giants. What the brother said about giants was true according to the ancient paradigm, man. I know some people think about giants, well, you know, how we see them in cartoons and on Power Rangers and all that. That's not what it was talking about back then, man. Yes, there were tall people back then, but to see a tall person like us today, you weren't going to see that all the time. If everybody in the Bible that was a Hebrew Israelite in the Old Testament, they were short people. The whole nation of Goliath was tall people. Goliath was the tallest person out of those people. So we're not saying that it wasn't tall people at all back then. What we're saying is the people who were considered tall, those were giants. It wasn't no NBA back then. It wasn't no Yao Ming. It wasn't no Shaquille O'Neal. It wasn't none of them people you see now. Y'all only see those people now because we have TV. We have a whole a whole spectrum of web where I ain't never got to go to Nigeria, but I can see the tallest person in Nigeria play in the NBA. Like, come on, man, y'all got to wake up, bro. These are facts, bro. All y'all got to do is you don't have to like the argument. Adjust your argument. Update your argument and adjust your argument. All of us have been wrong at some point, man. Ain't none of us right about every single thing, bro. And if you find out that you're wrong about something, rather than attack the brother, look up the sources that the brother showed you, find out if he's right, and if he is right, update your argument, man. Don't get mad. Like, come on, man. That's all I got, P. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, y'all heard it from my little bro, my co-host, nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel. Again, me and him don't have the same paradigm. My brother, Anouk Kakarot, go ahead and close out, man. This was the first of what I hope will be many engagements between you and I, bro.
Oh, yeah,
go ahead and close out for the people.
No doubt. I hope I'll be able to bring the whole Naga squad on here one day, you know what I'm saying, so we can give our spiel, because a lot of people got misconceptions about us.
My casa, su casa, bro.
Oh, yeah, you already know, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I just want to reiterate that God is light, is electromagnetism, and the fullness thereof. And once you start coming into the realization that God is light, then you can start taking the responsibility on yourself for your own actions and your own morality. And with that being said, man, I really, really appreciate this dialogue. I even appreciate Brother Sabio coming on and bringing the contention. Brother Nobody, I appreciate you, bro, because you came in and you gave live testimony to what I was saying. I appreciate that. Hotep
family. So this has been another episode of Paradigm Shift TV 314. It's your brother Pianki Patah Muntu Nefra Amun Ra. My co-host, nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel, came on late, but he added some fire. And that was the brother Anouk Kakarot coming on for the first time, for the first of many times. And he's going to bring the whole NGA Naga family, and we're going to get it in. So peace to my brother Sabio. You know what I think of you, bro, the best researcher out there. My brother Rocky, you are a scholar. And so, man, stop laughing, man. Dang. That said, brother, hey, we in the building. We're going to be bringing you more of this info. Shout out to the brother Metu Hotep Jallo. Appreciate the donation, brother. And yes, I am going to be asking for donations because I do want to start contributing to these brothers coming on and doing what they do. So that said, I hope it don't deject some of y'all, but if it do, so be it. We trying to build this channel. That said, we are out of here, family. Once again, this is the first of many builds with the brother Anouk Kakarot and the Naga family. That's hope. That's peace.
Peace.
Peace.